Hey, Justin Moorhead here. 3 minutes of real estate advice. Is refinancing your home worth it? Well, that can be answered in a couple of questions, right? It's all about the return on investment. So, is the amount of time that you're going to plan to stay in the home going to give you a return on investment of the costs involved in the refinance? Because what they're going to do is they're going to add in costs. It's not going to take anything out of your pocket, but it's going to take some money out of your equity to do an underwriting cost and processing and things like that. There are costs involved in a refinance, but if you're at a 5% rate and you can get a 2.5% rate, what's the number of months it would take for you to get a return on that lower interest rate or a return on the costs involved in the upfront expense to refinance? If you're planning on selling the home in a year, refinancing now really doesn't make a ton of sense unless you're going from a 10% rate to a 1% rate, or you know what I mean. Whatever the difference of cost is, you better have a return on investment of those costs in order to capitalize on the lower interest rate. Because if you're planning on staying in a home for 2 years, the interest rate really doesn't matter all that much because it's based on a 30-year amortization. And yes, up front is where you're going to pay the most amount of interest, but when you look at the differences of a 2% rate versus a 5% rate, the overall cost is the bulk of the loan, the 30 years, and not 2 years. So if it's a make or break scenario of you to buy a home at 5% versus 2%, to me, it's much more worth it to buy the home at 5% if you're going to only be in the house for 2 years. The cost difference is not going to be all that much. So, should you refinance the home? How long are you planning on staying in the home? And what's the difference of interest rate and what's the return on investment that you're going to get? 3 minutes of real estate advice. This was only 2 minutes long. Hope this was helpful for you. If you need a great lender to refinance with, if you're at a higher interest rate, send me a message. Or another benefit with refinancing is to change the term. You could go from 30 years to 15 years and pay less interest at a similar payment. So that's another advantage of refinancing. So building your team around you, like I always say, is your number one step, and having a great mortgage lender to guide you on, hey, should we adjust things and adjust the terms, keep the same payment, get a lower interest rate but better terms, and pay the home off sooner? Depends on your goals. Depends how long you're going to stay in the house. And reach out if you need anything. Talk to you soon.